What's up, guys? Welcome back to Slurve. It was a long weekend for me, my birthday yesterday, and I just disconnected from baseball and everything. It was great, cleared my head out, got ready to give you some more stats as I dive into these guys here. And we got a big old busy slate here for July 26th. It's a Tuesday. We got some big contests on DK, the old Midsummer Classic out there. But let's talk about some of the best plays for your cash games, because it is a big, kind of messy slate, honestly. There's a lot of things that I'm going, ooh, either I like too many people or I don't like anybody. So starting off with catchers, I really like Wilson Contreras against James Shields. Shields has given up 38% hard hit to right-handed batters. It's a huge amount, and Contreras is that, and he's a power guy. And I think he can, take Shields long. He's only 3.6 on DK and 3.1 on FanDuel, so pretty nicely priced in there. I was going to recommend with a lot more conviction Sandy Leon, but he's not in the lineup. Instead, we got Ryan Hannigan. It's not, terrible. He's against Mike Pelfrey, so anything is kind of good there. The Red Sox have like a 6.6 run total, and Hannigan is cheaper, 3.1 on DK and 2.1 on FanDuel. Really nice price there on FanDuel to get a piece of some of that Red Sox action that at least Vegas thinks will be very high scoring. I tend to agree, but, you never know with these things sometimes. And then also really like Mike Zunino against Liriano. You might look and see Zunino's stats this year against right-handed pitchers are not all that, against left-handed pitchers are not all that great compared to his righty stuff. I'm pretty sure that's just a sample size thing at this point. And he's really, really cheap, 2.6 on DK, 2.2 on FanDuel. I believe he's batting 7th in the order, so a little bit up there. And, Liriano, very vulnerable to getting blown up despite his last start, which was pretty good. First base is a real mess, and FanDuel and DK pricing is not helping out. So there are two guys on the cheap end that I like, and that's Jose Abreu and Brandon Belt. Abreu is against Hendricks, who doesn't give up a whole lot of hard contact, especially against right-handed batters. But then Abreu is better against right-handed pitchers. And Abreu is only 3.1 on DK and 2.7 on FanDuel. It's kind of crazy for a guy of his talent level. I just don't know. I mean, Hendricks is good, but he's not like that good. He's not Kershaw good, must avoid. Then Brandon Belt gets Cody Reed, who is nowhere near that good. Although, it's an interesting one. It's a case of whose splits win, whether it's Belt being better against lefties in the last 12 months or whether it's Reed striking out more lefties. Either way, his price on DraftKings is way discounted to 3.2. 3.8 on FanDuel, I'm not really so excited about, but he does have a 406 WOBA against left-handed pitching and a 262 ISO. And I believe the park there in Cincinnati is pretty favorable to the way that Brandon Belt tends to hit the ball when he's hitting it long. So I really do like that there. And then, the expensive side is kind of obvious. You got David Ortiz against Mike Pelfrey, who's 5.7 on DK, which is almost just like stupid. I don't know that any lineup can really afford him there. And 4.9 on FanDuel is not much better, but it's a little bit better. Same story in reverse, kind of for Anthony Rizzo. 5.5 on DK, still rough. 5.1 on FanDuel is rougher than Ortiz. So, if you got just tons and tons of money lying around, by all means, go for those guys. Otherwise, I like the two kind of lower-end guys there in Abreu and Belt. Apologies for the meowing cat that may sound like a crying baby in the background of the last video. She always seems to decide that whenever I'm busy, obviously doing something is the best time to come bother me, but I think that's cats. And the dog wasn't around to keep her away. I don't know what the hell his problem is. But anyway, that's all taken care of. Anyway, on to second baseman. I'm really liking Ryan Schimpf today. That guy has just been going crazy with the power since he came in. He's a second baseman on both FanDuel and DraftKings. He's also shortstop eligible on DraftKings. Marcus Stroman is, not terrible, but Schimpf has just been crushing right-handed pitching. 3.5 on DK is a nice price, and 2.2 on FanDuel is just like stupid, and they're giving him away, just giving him away. And then on the more expensive side, on both sites, I like Jonathan Scope against Bettis. Bettis actually gives up a lot more hard contact to right-handed batters than he does to left-handed ones. So I think that's a very interesting matchup there. He's 4.1 on DK and 4.2 on FanDuel. This makes him pretty hard on FanDuel. There's also Profar against Sonny Gray. 3.8 on DK and 2.3 on FanDuel is just kind of giving him away again. If he's batting first, like he has been, that's going to be a tough choice for me between him and Schimpf, because Schimpf tends to be in kind of the middle bottom half of the order. And there's little I love more than batting near the top of the order for cash games. So he's questionable, and the lineup wasn't out when I started recording this, but Jake Lamb is very interesting to me tonight, especially on FanDuel, where he's only 3.6. He's 2.8 on, 4.8. I wish he was 2.8. He's 4.8 on DK, makes him a little bit harder to fit into lineups, but I still love the upside there against Matt Garza. Lamb just absolutely crushes righties. There's also Arenado. Outside of Coors, they often don't get the attention they deserve, but he's still one of the best hitters in the game. Tillman, again, not a bad pitcher, but still one that doesn't bother me to take a hitter of his caliber against. He's only 4.1 on DK, so really, really nice price for him there. 4.3 on FanDuel makes it a little tougher. And then Machado against Bettis. I mentioned when I was talking about Scope that Bettis gives up more hard contacts to righties. Machado's in a good spot to take advantage of that too. 3.9 on both sites. So, if Lamb plays, I think 3.6 on FanDuel is just the obvious call. If not, then it's a little bit tougher there on FanDuel. And on DK, it's kind of your preference which side of the field you want the third baseman from. Is it Machado? Is it Arenado? So Bud Norris is on the slate. He's pretty cheap. He's in a decent spot. You may well be playing him in cash. I don't know. I haven't made that decision yet. I got to check in with Adam, see what he has to say about it too. But if you're not, then I really like Brad Miller, because one thing that is a huge red flag about Norris is the massive amount of hard contact he gives up to lefties. They don't make as much contact, so there's that. His cutter has been cutting down on that. But still, though, Brad Miller is definitely the kind of guy who can get a homer off of Norris in that kind of situation. 3.8 on DK and 2.9 on FanDuel is just really, really cheap. Plus, we also got, on the expensive end of the pool, Jonathan VR against Corbin. Corbin can't hold a runner to save his life. So VR is appropriately priced up, especially on DK, 5.2. 4.2 on FanDuel, still very pricey, but a little bit more on the affordable side. Still, with those other guys in the 2 range, it's pretty hard, but I would be surprised if VR did not steal a base tonight. Speaking of guys in the 2 range, we got Tulo against Cashner, somehow a 2.8 on FanDuel. That's got to be a lock and load price, I would think. He's 4.0 on DK, which is still pretty cheap, but a little bit more reasonable than FanDuel's 2.8. Player pricing lately has been really weird. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. All right, so the outfield is pretty messy too, much like first base, and the pricing is even more different between FanDuel and DraftKings. So bear with me here as I go through these guys kind of quickly, because there's more names than usual with the different prices. So we got Adam Jones against Chad Bettis. Talked about how he gives up a lot of hard contact to right-handed batters. Pretty interested in that. He's only 3.7 on DK, 3.5 on FanDuel. Roughly the same pricing, a little bit more on FanDuel relatively. We got Mac Williamson, the Mac attack against Cody Reed. So it's a lefty-righty matchup. It's a good one for Mac. And most importantly of all, he's only 2.6 on DK. He's 3.0 on FanDuel, which makes him a little harder to consider. There's some guys later on down the list for cheaper who I like better. Welcome back, Jose Bautista. We seems that he is likely to start and bat first today. If that's the case, then I'm pretty interested in him against Cashner, see if he can get a little welcome back dong there. And he's 4.1 on DK. I'm really not interested at 5.0 on FanDuel. Way too much risk in there, but on DK, I think that's factored into his price at 4.1. And then we got Nomar Mazara, who was such a regular here for so long and then had quite a slump there and seems to be kind of breaking out of it. He gets Sonny the Fraud Gray, and he's only 2.8 on FanDuel, so that's one of the guys I was talking about cheaper than Mac that's more interesting. He's been batting near the top of the order again against right-handed pitching. 3.9 on DK, I think is kind of more reflective of his actual potential and recent performance. But I still don't mind the price particularly. Excuse me. I'd still play Adam Jones first, though. And then there's also Alex Dickerson against Marcus Stroman. He's only 2.9 on DK and 2.5 on FanDuel. Great price on both sides for a left-handed batter who's really starting to emerge on the Padres there. Hopefully they don't shove him down too far in the order. And then we also, I'll just mention him mostly because his price on FanDuel seems out of whack to me. And that's Mookie Betts against Palfrey. He's 5.6 on DK, which is a very, well-earned price with the way he's been playing lately. He's only 4.2 on FanDuel, somehow 800 less than Jose Bautista returning from a suspension against Mike Palfrey. It just doesn't make any sense. But that's what it is. So on FanDuel, I'd highly advise you to use him as one of your cash game cornerstones. And that's it for today. Make sure you come on by later. We'll have the rundown, have a written dong finder article for you. All of that out later today on Slurv, slurv.com. It's free to sign up and come chat with us in the tailgate. And we'll get some good lineups made today, teaching people how to make better lineups all the time. Come on by and see us. Good luck tonight.